version. So I want all the questions to be answered. So I just.
Okay, so let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Potson. I am your CA Community Manager. We have a nice, short and sweet webcast for you today. Thank you for taking time out of your day for joining. Presenting today is Mr. Leo Inez, and he will be talking to you today about how to stay ahead of slow load times and website crashes with synthetic monitoring. So today is a 30-minute webcast. We are recording. We will have live questions for you at the end of the presentation. You can also ask questions in the Q&A panel or in the chat panel within the WebEx on the right side of your page. So, Leo, I pass to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Leonardo Añez, as she mentioned, and I've been a pre-sales consultant for CA Technologies for quite some time. And I focus on the monitoring tools. We have the application synthetic monitoring that I'll be mentioning in the next 30 minutes. And briefly, I will go through a few slides to kind of show you what we have and all the new features that are coming up on the new version. And then I'll be jumping into a quick demo. And then at the end, I'll be answering any questions you guys may have. So in the world of monitoring, I think that the importance of synthetic performance metrics is in relation to lightweight and how little resources is needed to monitor all of your locations worldwide. If you have data centers in all continents or only here in the U.S. This is very efficient when it comes to correlating data from if you have an APM solution backend into front end. So if you're monitoring synthetically all of your front end points, you can correlate that metric into the backend, and obviously that's going to benefit a lot of your customers in the sense that you knowing what's impacting, what's not impacting. You can also use it for pre-development and be ready for those deployments. The next things that I want to mention are what are the challenges that we want to help you answer when utilizing a synthetic monitoring tool. For instance, a lot of the cases you want to understand, is my website down, is operating as expected, for instance, in Europe, or how long does it take for a user to finish any given transaction, or which part of the website is underperforming. So a lot of those questions is what we're going to be able to answer for you through our synthetic monitoring. And then briefly, some of the other very important questions that comes up a lot is SLAs. Are you meeting your SLAs? Are your users having poor experience, and why? And be able to really understand that it's going to tremendously impact, from a positive perspective, all your users coming into your site. Then the great thing is that we have our SaaS offering through our Digital Experience Insights. And right now we have 3 solutions, and coming soon we're going to have the App Synthetic Monitoring added to it, which is going to be great. Once you deploy a monitoring solution with App Synthetic, you can correlate that into our mobile monitoring. You can also do it through the APM and infrastructure, and we can kind of correlate that data on the APM side of things. But this is actually a great benefit to anyone who wants to only use this through a SaaS offering. We also offer on-premise. So, for instance, if there is a specific location anywhere in the world that you want presence, you can install an on-premise solution, and then you can have the presence being monitored, and you can get metrics as to how your website is doing in that specific region that you want presence on. And then anyone that is using our tool right now and is going to be interested into moving to the new version. At the end, you can provide your email information, and we can definitely get you into the beta site. That way you can play with it and start working on it and start using the new features. And with that, I'll go ahead and jump into our live demo. I'll go ahead and bring in my site here real quick. Can anyone see the screen now? Trying to make sure that it's visible.
Not seeing it.
Okay, let me go ahead and, okay, it's coming up here shortly. All right, so we have, this is the current version of App Synthetic Manager that we have now, right? This is when you access and you see the dashboard, you see all the metrics coming in, what's up and running and what's not, what's been affected. So the old site has a lot of manual steps that can be done and how to configure some of the reportings that you want. And the new one looks something like this. So the new one is going to be a lot easier. It's going to be very automated in how you can monitor. For instance, if you go into setting up any monitors, and I said, go ahead and create a new one, we have all the protocols and we have anything on the front end for full page monitoring. As of right now, for transaction monitoring, we have Firefox, and Chrome will be available in the near future. Also will be supported as well. But for real browser monitoring, Firefox is the supported one right now. By going to some of the monitors that I created, we have a few here, and then we can see that I created some with arrow key. I'm going to go into the log files. We can see here that I have some data coming in. Again, this is a beta environment, so I don't have enough data to work with, but at least I can give you the walkthrough of how everything looks like. So for instance, on this one, if we go into any information that I want to understand for that specific page, we can see here a lot of the get metrics coming in and understand any of them if we spend it. Also, we can have a lot of scripting. So for instance, if you have JMeter, if you're using JMeter or Botboy scripting, we do support the latest version of JMeter as well. And all the monitoring that you will be having through ASM is asynchronous, which is going to be, doing a lot more for very little resources. And again, the monitoring benefit of synthetic is, how many point of presence I can attach without having to use too much resources, and it's going to save you a lot of money. If the front end of monitoring is what is the most important to you. If the back end is something that is needed and is critical to business, then we also have the application performance management, and we can correlate the data together, and that way you can see front end and back end as well. Obviously, the front end will be synthetically, but also if you want the real browser monitoring, you will have those real transactions coming in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go into briefly current status. Again, I don't have enough data, but I guess you can see in the new environment with an App Synthetic Monitoring, you can build dashboard however you want to. You can move them all around, and you can customize it however it fits your needs the most. Also, you have alerting. So we have many different ways of how you can be alerted if something is going wrong in your monitoring with ASM. Going to some of the features that I can kind of briefly show you. All the protocols that is supported are going to be pretty much standard. All the protocols that is supported out there in the industry. And then also we have the function on scripting. Okay, and this is going to come very useful. That's when you go into the more transaction traces focused metrics that you want to obtain. And as I mentioned before, the notification capabilities are pretty flexible, and we do have many ways in how you can be notified alerts in any given downside on your performance. And then briefly, I want to mention the capabilities of how through APM, okay, you can bring the ASM metrics, but also if you have a mobile application monitoring, how all those two things can come into the application performance management, and we can be very specific in how we can get data for all of those solutions. But the app synthetic monitoring, we have a very interesting use case when it comes to security, right? We want to be able to understand, do we support the latest security layers? And yes, we do. And we have a very interesting use case from a customer who experienced DDoS attack on some of his sites in different regions. And through ASM, we were able to monitor, and he was able to see that his website was being attacked through DDoS attack. So it's another way of utilizing this. Very minimal resources that it will take from your end. Very affordable, but also very useful and beneficial when it comes to monitoring security on your end. So if we go into the performance chart, we can see here the three options that you have, and also it's going to break down into different percentage of what's working and what's not. I'll see if I can select some of the data that I was able to gather yesterday. And I apologize for the environment not having enough data, but since this is very new, I was able to gather all I could, right? And anything that is working or not working will be displayed in the error indicators. So by the percentage, you're going to know what's been affected, also by the coloring. It'll be something similar to this. So if I go into the log files, it'll be something similar to that, but obviously it'll be different. It's going to be more intuitive. Obviously, you're going to have the waterfall effect, and you're going to have the screenshots. So obviously, we do have screenshots of the timeline of your site, whatever site specific you are monitoring. And then we have obviously here the waterfall. You have the waterfall on this new app synthetic monitoring version, but again, it'll be more intuitive. And obviously, the automation of how to monitor things will be a lot easier. And as we are progressing and improving the tool, more and more automation will be added to it. So we're trying to make it a lot, more intelligent in how it configures any the scripting that you're building, or the automation itself of monitoring your site in any given moment. So I was just briefly wanting to give you the walkthrough of the current version of ASM and what the new one is. And obviously, we are progressing and we are making things a lot better, more user-friendly. And the benefit also of the presence that you can have worldwide is that we have on-premise. And having that on-premise benefit is very useful, because obviously there are not going to be a lot of locations in the world that we might not be that location to give you the presence, but through the on-premise installation, you can have presence anywhere you want in the world. So that's another big benefit that you have through our tools. And then lastly, I just wanted to briefly mention the SaaS offerings, right? So now, once you go into our digital insights environment, you're going to have all those solutions that can tie into one. And it's good to understand that having the synthetic monitoring of your site is one way to get performance, provide end user experience, provide a 5-star environment, but at the same time, you want to understand how is your backend working, right? If you see a lot of downtime, on your front end, how is that relating to the backend? So you can have one scope of one way of looking at the synthetic monitoring, but at the same time, if your backend is the one giving you a lot of problems and you're getting a lot of errors on the front end, through synthetically testing your site, how can you view that, and how can you target that to better solve any root issues that might arise? So one way is to have the one view on synthetic monitoring, but also having the application performance management tool is critical to understand the backend, all the database calls, and also back in the middle environment, which is very important to have. So that's pretty much what I have, and I want to be able to have the next 10 minutes for questions. Anyone that is using the tool, I'm sure you guys might have a lot of questions, or anyone new into ASM as well. And briefly, I want to mention that I have on the call the project manager for our synthetic monitoring tool. So if you have any questions, that I might not be able to answer you at this moment, I have him on the call, and he can answer as well any questions you guys may have.
Okay, thank you, Leo. So if you have a question, please hit #6 on your phone so that you can be unmuted and ask Leo a question. While people are doing that, Leo, one question did come in through the chat window. You might not see it. It was sent direct to me. Will this version of ASM have a direct integration into SOI for alert forwarding?
I know that ASM has some integration with PagerDuty, but for SOI, again, I'm glad that I brought the PM on the call. So Shatan, I don't know if that's something that will be supported, or if it is right now actually supported.
Hi, thanks, Leo. This is Chaitan. We have a few customers using this integration, but I'll have to confirm it once again. If this latest release would have that integration supported with this SOI. May I have your email address, please, so that I could contact you on the response to this answer?
Yeah, I'll make sure you get that, Chaitan.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, and the next question that I see is, will the ASM on-premise solution eventually replace UIM, E2E, Atmon synthetic monitoring?
Melissa, can you repeat that question once again for me, please?
Sure. Will the ASM on-premise solution eventually replace UIM, E2E, Atmon synthetic monitoring?
Well, no. I don't think, at least that's not on the roadmap for the near term, actually.
But perhaps we can ask whoever asked that question, Brian, to post an idea in the community. Let's get some votes on that and see if other people are interested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no other questions in the Q&A panel. Oh, I actually just see one coming in now. Is ASM a homegrown tool or something CA acquired and merged into your product lineup? Great question.
Oh, well, yeah, ASM was an acquired company. It's probably was called Nimsoft, or you must have heard about WatchMouse. And it is fully integrated. This is like, I'm talking many, many years ago. It is definitely a fully integrated product right now, actually.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A panel or the chat. If there are any live questions, please hit #6 and you can ask a question live to the team here. Okay, so I do not see any more questions. Leo, thank you very much for your presentation today. Chetan, thank you for staying on the line and answering some questions. We hope that you enjoyed today's presentation. We intentionally desired to keep it short and sweet, under a half hour. Hopefully you derived some value from today's discussion. You can continue the conversation in the community, of course. This presentation was recorded, so you can check out the replay in the community. Stay tuned to the community also to learn about some future events. And of course, if you're at CA World, we hope to see you there. So thank you very much. You can disconnect. We are good. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Leo.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.